Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is going to be a quick review of the Urban Decay Naked Honey palette. So Urban Decay recently came out with this palette, and honestly at first when I saw it I thought, oh no, another monochromatic palette, I'm not gonna get it. Then I saw it in person and I was like, oh my gosh, it's so pretty. So when you look at this palette, like even in video or on store or wherever you're looking at it, it just doesn't look like you're going to be very useful because it looks like such an everyday neutral palette. You're like, oh my gosh, we've seen these colors over and over again. But honestly, some of these colors in here are so pigmented and they pop so well that I do think this palette has its own unique place for itself in your makeup collection. So for me, I really love the color collection, the color story, I guess is what they call it. I love the way that they've changed the different tones, the textures for each of these colors. My favorite one, of course, is Honey. Honey is absolutely gorgeous. Honey is a fantastic color. It goes onto the lids with ease. You don't need to use an eye primer with these. I did not need one. I didn't have much fallout. I had no problem blending them. Actually, the brush as well. Sometimes the brushes that they include in these palettes are kind of like so-so. The brush in this one is actually pretty good, so the brush itself is useful. This is $49 at either Ulta, Sephora, or at Urban Decay, so you're going to get it for the same price anywhere you look at it. So it is a little bit more of a pricier palette, so that's why I wanted to kind of give you guys like a very quick review on it. So just in case you were curious, you are getting, let's see, you are getting 12 pans at 0.95 grams with a net weight of 12 times 0.0330 ounces. So you are getting 12 shades in here, obviously, and I'm going to read to you a little bit about what it says about itself on the Ulta website. It says, raw and sticky sweet, just the way nature intended. Get hooked on Urban Decay's Naked Honey eyeshadow palette. Its 12 gold neutrals include classic golds, warm ambers, and rich chocolate browns. Reach for amber, it glows. Create the perfectly hazy smoked out look with Sting, the warm bronze matte, and get hooked on Honey, intense gold metallic for the ultimate 70s statement eye look. So I agree. I think this palette is very beautiful, and I do think that you can create quite a multitude of looks. You can go very daytime with it. You can do it a little bit more dramatic. I think the way that I've done my eye look today is a little bit more smoky, and it would be good for a date night. So for me, I think every color in here is fantastic. The one thing that I can tell you that I do not like about this palette is that there isn't a matte, that it's like this white right here, the one that's called Flyby. I typically like one that's like a matte shade like that because I'll lay down all over the lid. Now the next one, which is Sweet, is more of a matte, so that one can work for your color that you're going to lay down, so it's not that huge of a deal. But it is something I want to take note and let you guys know that this one is not matte. It's more of a satin. So you've got satins in here. And all these colors blend effortlessly. I have no problems using them. You can put them on with your fingers. You can use them with a brush. You can intensify them a little bit with a little bit of water onto your brush or a little bit of setting spray on your brush. That's going to definitely make them more intense. I'm going to swatch this entire palette for you guys because I want you to see the intensity of it. And I'm going to do my finger across the color twice and then one swap, so that way there you can see the color. Now I will tell you guys, almost every palette you will ever swatch does not swatch exactly like it's going to wear in your eyes. I have tried this palette out many times so far, so I can tell you that it works fantastic on the eyes. So don't judge it by how good or how bad it swatches actually, because sometimes that's not a true tale of how a palette is going to work. Most of the time that's not a true tale. So we're going to start with, I'm going to pop the brush out of here. We're going to start with Flyby. So Flyby, like I said, is not a matte. It's more of like a satin shade. So here is Flyby. So if you swipe it one time like that, you can tell it's a little powdery, but on the eyes, it is not powdery. The highlight I have on the inner corner of my eyes right now is actually Flyby. So if you smooth this out a little bit more, you can tell it definitely smooths out into more of a satin look. It is absolutely gorgeous, and you can see it on my finger here where it looks more satin-like. It is really, really pretty. So that for me was a kind of a drawback, but a plus at the same time. So it's more of like, it can be used as a highlight, which you can use it on your face too. So you can use that as a facial highlight. Now we're going to move on to Sweet. Now this one's more of a matte shade, so this one is going to be a good one that you could lay down. If you wanted to lay this down for your base, it would definitely work as a base. So it works really, really well. It's got more of a peachy undertone. I would say it's like a brown with a little bit of peach undertone to it. So it's very, very unique in the color that it's going to blend really well with your eyelid. Then we have Swarm. Swarm is more of like a camel color. So this one here reminds me a lot of like I know I used to have a shirt that looked exactly like that, and I love the color of it. And this is like the color that's kind of in for the holiday, or for like this fall season, is this orangey, almost like a mustardy yellow. So that's what it kind of looks like. It's got a little bit of that mustardy yellow with a little bit of brown mixed into it. So it's like the, what is that mustard called? The spicy mustard. Then we're going into amber. So amber is right here. Amber is a very shiny metallic shade. So there's what it looks like. It is absolutely gorgeous. But as you can tell, I am swiping them twice. I did mean to go ahead and mention that. But as you can tell, they all have really good pigmentation to them, and we will do the swipe test that like Jen from Jen Loves Reviews does, where basically you take your cloth and you swipe it over and it'll tell you whether or not the shadows are going to last on your eyelids. Then we're going to Keeper. So 1, 2, and 1, 2, Keeper. So there's Keeper. Keeper and this one right here are very, very similar, but this one here has a little bit more intensity to it. So if you want it to be a little bit more intense, it's definitely going to help to build it up. Then we're moving down to Golden. So Golden is right here. Golden has a little bit of a more textured way that it feels in the pan, but when you swipe it, it does not have any texture. It is beautiful. Like, look at that shade. It is absolutely gorgeous. It actually looks like gold. It looks like literal gold. Then we're down to Honey. And Honey, oh my gosh, guys, this shade is so fantastic. Like, I love the shade on my lid. You can take it, like I said, with your finger and pop it onto your lid, or you can do it with a brush, and either way it's going to be very intense. I think it's an absolutely beautiful color, and it really does look like honey. And when it kind of glistens and glows, it looks like honey when it's pouring out of a bottle. Then we have Queen, and Queen is got a little bit of brown, almost like a bronze shade with a little bit of gold sparkle throughout it. So it's not really sparkle, it's just kind of like embedded into it. You'll see what I mean? So here is Queen. And so as you can tell, it's got a little bit of that like golden in it. So it's like the bronze with a little bit of golden mixed in there. Then we're down to Hive. Hive is a really good color to like build up for your transition. So here is Hive. Hive is beautiful. But Hive, this one and this one might look very similar, but again, you can tell they're starting to build their intensity. So that's the way you can kind of build up your eye look and still have all colors that are going to work super, super good together. But it's going to make your eye look come together very quickly, very beautiful, and it's going to look like you took a lot of time to work on your eye look, but you really didn't. So now we're down to Drip, and Drip has a little bit more of like a pinky brown undertone in my opinion. So here's a Drip. So there's what Drip looks like. So as you can tell, this has more yellow and this has more of a pinky undertone to it. So it definitely has a little bit more of that into it versus the other ones up in here. Then we're down to HBIC. And HBIC is a very beautiful copper shade. So look how pretty that is. It looks like a copper penny. So I think it looks absolutely fantastic. All these shades mixed together. Then we're down to Sting. Sting is going to be perfect if you want to like build up your outer corner. If you want to make it a little bit more intense, you want to mix it with another color to make that color a little bit more intense. It's going to work really well like that. All of them, again, are a little bit chunky when you swatch them, but I'm telling you, on your eyes, there's no fallout. You're going to have absolutely no issues whatsoever working with this palette. So I think it's a really good one. For $49, I do think it's pricey, but that's the price of almost every palette that you're going to get from Urban Decay, so it's not like there's any difference, honestly. I would say that it's great to get it when it's on a sale, just because I'm a person who, I'm like a bargain shopper. So if I'm going to purchase anything, I like to try to find the best deal I possibly can get for anything I'm purchasing. But $49, even at that price, I don't think it's bad, because I think it's going to be a palette that you're going to go to quite often, because it seems like it's going to be so easy to use. It's going to be a good one for like the everyday makeup. It'll be a good one for date nights. It'll be a good one for many occasions, in my opinion. So let me do the swipe test here for you so you can see whether or not the color goes away. So we'll do here, here. So you can tell that some of these colors did kind of disappear, but a lot of these are stuck, which tells you that they should last on your lids for a long time. I've seen Jen do this test, and her test is pretty accurate, so that's why I thought it would be a good idea to show you guys how well these will last on your eyelids, because I think they're going to last for a long time. I've had no issues with them. I've had no issues with fallout. I've had no issues with eye irritation. Like I said, the only flaw I see in this palette is that the color, the first shade in here, the lighter shade, I wish they would have put that one as a matte. In my opinion, that should have been a matte. But then again, you wouldn't have that beautiful highlight then. So, because it does turn into a gorgeous highlight. Like I said, it's in the inner corner of my eyes. It's what I use for my brow bone highlight. So it is fantastic. So if you're looking for a beautiful highlight included into a palette, I think this is a really, really good one. So all in all, I'd give it 2 thumbs up. I think it's a really good palette, but I do think that you should wait for a sale, just because why not save a little bit of money? It's not going to go anywhere. I believe this is a new permanent palette, so it's not like it's a special palette that's just only going to be around for a little while. So if you get a coupon or if there's a sale going on, that's when I would pick it up. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this quicker review. Let me know if you like this style or if you prefer more in-depth. Let me know. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you guys later.